It is a single shot of a fireplace. It is certainly not overproduced, and yet it is somehow mesmerizing. Is it the burning flames? Is it the music? Or maybe the doll hanging on the mantel? Many people remember giving gifts, eating dinner, or simply relaxing with their loved ones as the log filled the room with rich sounds and the warm glow of crackling wood. It is this symbol that WPIX wanted to embrace and invite viewers into their family with. But what is the story behind the famous film loop that has spawned many imitators and continues as a beloved Christmas tradition in the New York area and around the world even today? Please join us as we look back at the burning life of this famous loop of film. These are the stories behind the log, with a couple of surprises along the way. Like they did everywhere else, the 1960s marked a time of change here in New York City. Changes that affected education, lifestyles, laws, family values, and of course media and entertainment. Leading the helm of the independent television station WPIX at this time was a man by the name of Fred Thrower, station manager. Frederick Mitchell Thrower II was born in 1910 and grew up in Florida. On his way to medical school in the fall of 1929, he was visiting New York City just as the stock market crashed and the country went into the Great Depression.
He received a telegram from his father saying, "Son, get a job, the bank's just closed." And he got a job at the music library filing records at NBC.
During World War II, Fred used his newfound career to help fight the Germans.
Serving in the Army, running where his expertise in media could assist as the person in charge of a unit that would go up to the front lines and using speakers and a translator convince the Germans to surrender. And so he would go up with the jeeps and the speakers and set them up on the front lines and then move back and try and convince them to surrender. And in many cases, they were successful in getting them to surrender, saving a lot of lives. So he returned to the States, got back into television, and I don't know the exact sequence, but ultimately was approached by the news to come and work at WPIX, which as an independent station was very appealing to him, and it really was an idea sandbox for all of the creative parts of his personality. He was an incredibly creative man.
In 1953, Fred came to WPIX as general manager with a spark that turned ideas into magic.
His favorite phrase was, "Wouldn't it be great if?" And he had this uncanny ability to see things as they could be rather than as they are.
New York City in the 1960s was a hub of technology and innovation. WPIX TV was quickly becoming a household name for the people in the 5 million television homes throughout the tri-state area. TV had become a member of the family. The Honeymooners, Bozo the Clown's Big Top, and the Three Stooges, hosted by Officer Joe Bolton, were some of Channel 11's most popular shows.
Well, look who's coming this way.
The station's news department, even then, was known for its local and national news coverage and award-winning productions.
My dad loved the news and having an accurate portrayal of what was happening in the world events. When Robert Kennedy was shot, he ran a slide that simply said the word shame for 2.5 hours, I believe it was, and that was the only thing that showed on the air.
At the station, Fred was always a thinking man, and at home, he was also a dreamer.
I can remember as a child lying in the hammock with my dad, and before he would take a nap, we would look at the clouds and he would try and figure out what the clouds could become. And using his imagination, he really taught me how to create images and, creatures and bears and things in the sky. And that's when I first realized that my dad was this kind of idea Santa Claus.
A father of 3, Fred cherished Christmas as a special occasion. Keeping tradition was also very important to him, so it was no surprise that every year he would read The Night Before Christmas in a big red robe.
Christmas in the Thrower house was a very big deal. Christmas was something that, the tree went up a long time before Christmas. I think we started playing Christmas carols on Thanksgiving Day.
And then there was November 1966, when Fred had an idea that came from an unlikely source.
I remember the exact moment when Dad had the idea for the Yule Log. We were watching TV in the den, and a Coca-Cola commercial with a fireplace burning. And it was a really pretty fireplace and looked very, very real. And Dad and I both remarked about how it felt as though it was really right there in the room with us. And I could see the idea forming in his mind. He said, wouldn't it be nice to have people who do not have fireplaces be able to enjoy something like that in their homes for the holidays? And that was it.
The Coca-Cola commercial struck a sentimental chord. This would be Fred's great idea, a Christmas card from WPIX to its viewers, a card of a burning log mixed with Christmas music to be enjoyed in a unique, modern, and urban way.
The next day, he went to the station and drafted a memo that said, here's what we should do. What do you think about this idea?
On Christmas Eve, Saturday, December 24th, there was a hole in the college basketball schedule, which is now firm for this time period starting December 3rd from 10 to 11:30 p.m., which gives us an opportunity to do something a little different and special. I have a suggestion, that we announce and promote the fact that we are canceling all programs and commercials from 10 p.m. to 12:30 midnight. We can easily knock out roller derby 11:30 to 12:30 midnight in order to present a WPIX Christmas card to our viewers.
Fred's memo continues explaining his vision for what this Christmas card would look like.
Our card would consist of a piece of color film or tape, which we would have to have made, of approximately 5 minutes duration, which would be repeated via a looping process over and over continuously for 2.5 hours. The color picture would open on a beautiful fireplace with Christmas stockings and flaming Yule logs, and the camera would dolly in eyeball to eyeball with the fire, so that the effect is that the television set became a fireplace.
Fred continues on.
Audio-wise, we would feature 2.5 hours of Christmas music and carols prepared by WPIX-FM, which would be a great advertisement for them. The radio station could carry the same program simultaneously and make announcements directing people to turn on their television sets and bring the warmth of the Yule logs into their homes. You really have to see this to believe it. The television set actually becomes a fireplace. And since Christmas Eve is a time for decorating the tree after the children have gone to bed, the overall presentation should be most effective. And since we would be canceling all programs and commercials, it is startling enough to gain attention.
Fred's idea was now conceptualized, but it would take great teamwork to execute his vision.
Unless there is something radically wrong with this idea, which I haven't thought of, I would like the station to lay it on. So, Hank, will you please discuss this plot with Messrs. Freeman, Pope, Cooper, Tuati, and Christian? Find out what is involved and tell me whether it can and will be done.
Fred also had another idea, which was never developed.
Embellishments of the idea will suggest themselves, such as supering a crawl of the words to Christmas carols at the bottom of the tube, which might be a worthwhile addition. On the other hand, I think if the idea is kept startlingly simple, it will have its best chance of being effective.
Next, Fred would need to decide on what music to use and, of course, the location for such a production. What is a Yule log? While most people have heard of the Yule log, few people realize it can be traced back to the days of the Middle Ages. Although we associate the Yule log with Christmas, it was originally part of a pagan celebration. Yule was the name of a midwinter festival that took place in Scandinavia. It was celebrated around the time of the solstice, which occurs in the winter, known as the season of death, of darkness, of coldness. This is precisely why the burning of the Yule log became so symbolic. It represented, in many ways, the resurrection of the sun and a new beginning. Choosing the log, going and getting it, then bringing them in was a big part of the Christmas celebration. People would go out and chop down the biggest trees they could find. The idea was that the Yule log should be so big that you would start burning it Christmas Eve, and it would burn all through the night and Christmas Day. In some cases, there were Yule logs large enough that it would take several people and horses to drag them back to town. Although the Yule log was supposed to be so big it could burn for 24 hours, you didn't want to burn up the whole thing. You'd save a piece of it each year, keep it in your house, and it was supposed to bring you good luck or ward off evil. The size and eventual disappearance of the Yule log coincides with the evolution of technology. Cast iron stoves eventually replaced the hearth. Fireplaces became smaller, and the prospect of finding large trees every Christmas became increasingly difficult. But despite all these changes, the Yule log has been and continues to be a big part of holiday tradition. Stay tuned for more of the WPIX Yule Log, A Log's Life.
Welcome back to the WPIX Yule Log, A Log's Life. Once Fred Thrower, general manager of WPIX, decided to bring the Yule log to television, the next step would be to find the perfect fireplace that every family could relate to. As John Lindsay started his term as mayor of New York City, he and his wife moved into Gracie Mansion with their young family.
They had 4 children. They had glamorous parties. The Lindsays were glamorous. They were our Kennedys. Well-bred, articulate, beautiful to look at, classy. When they moved in 1966, the Lindsay children were 5, 10, 12, and 15. Holidays were very important, and Mary Lindsay loved Christmas especially.
With the mansion now occupied by such a young and stylish family, the mood was right for this unique holiday project.
I found during the original filming of the Yule log that the producers had determined on filming it in a very quintessential New York setting. What could be better than Gracie Mansion?
The house at the time had become a major tourist destination.
When people came through, they felt entitled to take a souvenir. And not only were they so a part of walking through the rooms of Gracie Mansion that they could watch the mayor shaving in his bathroom.
Being the most famous house in New York, WPIX called Mary Lindsay's office and asked if they could shoot this greeting card at Gracie Mansion.
When they asked Mrs. Lindsay if they could do it, she said, "Sure, you provide the log, we'll provide the fireplace."
The mansion had almost a dozen fireplaces, so choosing the best one was vital.
The fireplace itself had been brought in by Joseph Folk, the second owner of Gracie Mansion, when he traveled. He had brought it in. It's a French fireplace from around 1830, French marble fireplace, neoclassical, very elegant, very chaste. So the Lindsays thought that would be the proper fireplace to shoot for the Yule log because it's so elegant and the fireplace is in the most elegant room.
Newsday reported at the time that the fireplace had a stuffy chimney that poured forth so much dark smoke. Channel 11's technicians worked quickly, shooting the show in 20 minutes. The editors would find the best 17 log crackling seconds later to loop.
If you're going to shoot it Yule log, if you're going to shoot the flame, you really don't want anything in between the camera and the flame itself. So they took the barrier away, which was the fire barrier, which would keep any sparks from possibly jumping out.
They promptly, according to sources I've spoken to, burned up a $4,000 Oriental rug. So there was something of a mishap.
This was the mayor's mansion, and this was a valuable rug, but they got a wonderful piece of footage.
The original log was a 17-second loop, shot on 16mm film in color. Now that the log was filmed, they were ready to add some holiday music.
His signature on the Yule log was his love of the music and his selection of Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra. The people that he really enjoyed became a part of this tradition.
And the next thing I know, he had taken all of our Christmas tapes back to the office so that they could start recording music immediately. We had a huge collection. He just grabbed them and took them in and gave them to the people at PIX, and that's when it started.
The music would be heard both on WPIX TV and an FM stereo on WPIX FM 101.9, and was carefully selected from 53 separate stereo albums.
Who knew that the first star of the first music video would be a burning log?
Positive reaction and national press started even before the broadcast, with newspapers, wire services, radio, and television competitors all devoting time and space to this event. The Boston Herald even created a 6-cartoon layout. Of course, the holiday season in New York City was as special then as it is today.
New York is a Christmas kind of city. It's a celebratory city. New York City comes alive in Christmas time. All you have to do is walk down the great streets, not just Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue, but you can go into the Bronx, you can go to Staten Island, Queens, and Brooklyn, and look into the store windows and see that they are alive again with that kind of vitality. Christmas is a time when we have a promise. The store windows are twinkling with vitality. Of course, the cash registers are going too, and that's all part of it. We not only give gifts, we give greetings, and I believe that there is something beautiful about gifts as well.
As the Yule Log's premiere drew near, the London Daily Mirror announced this idea will convert millions of television sets in greater New York to a, quote, vast fireplace. The Yule Log premiered on Christmas Eve, 1966, from 9:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. The Yule Log was last in the ratings that first year, but the station was flooded with congratulatory letters. Newspapers from as far away as London and Paris carried reports of the log, and cartoons showed people roasting marshmallows over their TV sets. Advertisers came forward, wanting to invest in the next year's log, but Fred Thrower turned down all offers. He viewed this as a Christmas card to the viewers, and that was not going to change. When the Yule Log premiered in December 1966, in color, there was an estimated 5.6 million TV homes in the New York area, but only an estimated 800,000 of those were color sets. A spokesperson for the station that year said that the cancellation of advertising would cost Channel 11 about $4,000.
To the people of Channel 11, what a beautiful display you placed on the air this Christmas season. The music was delightful. The fire was enchanting. I really felt like I was in the mayor's home with his family. More television stations should follow in your footsteps and embrace their viewers on the holidays. I have moved the television into my bedroom at night so I could fall asleep to the music. I have never had a fireplace in my home, and now I have one every year. Thank you for giving this gift to the area. Happy holidays, Phil Donahue, New Rochelle, 1969.
Welcome back to the WPIX Yule Log, A Log's Life. The success of the Yule Log on Channel 11 grew year after year in the late 60s, and additional greetings were later added, such as the Christmas message read by WPIX's Richard Hughes. But by the fourth year, the footage of the log, shot in 16mm film, had deteriorated from wear and desperately needed to be reshot.
I found conflicting reports. A number of people had told me that the log was taped at least one more time because the original taping consisted only of a film loop that lasted for approximately 17 seconds, so the result was very jerky. Unfortunately, they couldn't get permission to film at Gracie Mansion again because they were still upset about the burned rug.
Because of some rug damage during the 1966 filming, the station was not allowed to reshoot at Gracie Mansion.
My dad liked the consistency of the log being something that people would see every year. I do know that he felt very bad about burning the rug when the embers of the log flew out, or when the sparks flew out of the fireplace. He felt awful about that.
But the station didn't have a choice, so it began to research a new location.
They went on an extensive search for a fireplace with similar andirons, and they found one.
Assigned to this shoot was WPIX VP of Film, a Peabody Award-winning producer who was also the same director who shot the Gracie Mansion log, Bill Cooper.
Everybody loved my husband. He was very giving, caring, intelligent, and very creative.
One of the many people who respected Bill's work was Fred Thrower.
The relationship between Bill and Fred Thrower was very close. Very, very close. I can't say how close because they were so warm with each other. Bill respected Fred Thrower respected Bill. In fact, when Fred Thrower left PIX and retired, Bill got his chair that he had behind his desk.
Before that, they set out to recreate an already beloved program. But New York City had very strict fire laws, so it wasn't easy to find a working fireplace, especially one that mirrored the original. This forced Bill to expand his search for the perfect reshoot location.
The first choice was Gracie Mansion, and they remembered what happened before, and they couldn't get permission this time. Now, they wanted to get a fireplace that would look like Gracie Mansion's fireplace, and they looked all over. And how they found one in California, I don't know. But they found one that looked like Gracie Mansion's fireplace in California, and it didn't have a valuable rug in front of it, and no wall-to-wall carpeting, so they could take the grate away from the front of the fireplace and actually shoot the flame with no worry that they might cause some damage.
Once the location was chosen, Bill and the crew would have to fly out to California. The original log was shot in late autumn when the weather made it appropriate for a fire, but this second shot would be in Southern California in the August heat of 1970.
Bill went out for the second shoot in summer to California, which is very hot anyway in the summer, to light a fireplace, which is boiling hot. And of course, all the cameramen, Bill, everybody was just dying from the heat. And they had their beer. They made sure they'd have a good time at this shoot anyway. And they did it very well, but it was very hot. And it's amazing that they accomplished what they did in that type of heat. He enjoyed it. He loved Christmas, so to have Christmas in summer, it's a special thing.
As the production director of the 1966 shooting, Bill knew what was needed to recreate the show. From the look to the gifts in the room, he knew the station wanted consistency. Similar fireplace, similar overall look. Bill even used the same doll over the mantel.
The props they used on the reshoot were the same dolls, they found them, that they used on the first shoot, which was good, because they wanted to make it as exact as possible to the first shoot. And that's why they looked for the same fireplace and that sort of thing.
With the second shoot complete, the idea that came from a soda ad would now continue as a tradition that would last for decades. The Yule Log, which traveled 3,000 miles to be captured, would now warm the hearts and homes of millions in the New York area.
What a wonderful present from PIX to the people in this area.
The WPIX Yule Log is a celebration of the Christmas spirit with the warmth and good cheer of a Yule Log fire.
For almost 20 years, the log would burn as a tribute to Fred Thrower's original idea. This version is the log we see today. The current loop is about 6.5 minutes long, originally shot on 35mm film, and, as always, shot in color.
If you look really closely at the andirons on the Yule Log, you can see movement. And it's like looking back in time, because the people who are filming the Yule Log are reflected in those andirons, and every now and then you'll see movement or somebody walking from one end to the other. And I don't know if my dad was there during the filming, but every Christmas I'll look. I'll look really closely.
Touch that remote and you'll be sorry. Do you know when and where the loop begins and ends? It's when the coals burn down to here and then back again.
To the new and improved log. Wow, I wish to be the first to say what a difference there is in the new log. There really is no question that this new show is cleaner and smoother than ever before. I have 3 teenage kids, 2 girls and a boy, And each year it is becoming harder and harder to hold on to those traditions that I grew up with. Well, thank the Lord that they enjoy the Yule log. Even if they are making fun of it, they are listening to it and remembering when they were little. And for that, I am truly thankful. I assume that you will keep airing it for a long time because you invested in it for another shoot. Well, that's just great with me. Keep up the good work and Merry Christmas. Mother Stuck in the Past, Erin O'Keefe, Long Island, New York, 1970.
Welcome back to the WPIX Yule Log, a log's life. From 1966 to 1977, the log aired for 3 hours, usually between 9 p.m. to 12 midnight on Christmas Eve.
I can clearly remember watching the Yule log next to the fireplace. And it was always so strange to me to see a television burning with a fire next to the actual fireplace. And as a little kid, you're trying to figure that out, but it was an amazing experience. Dad always loved the Yule log. He really was passionate about the Yule log. And I can remember driving into the city from either Westchester, New York, or later when we would commute in from Connecticut. And I remember we would drive past the houses and he would look for houses that didn't have chimneys. And that was how he would kind of acknowledge to himself that, yep, they can have a fireplace now.
But in January 1976, Fred retired.
Merry Christmas to all of you. This is Mary Murphy, and I would like to thank you for joining us this morning on PIX 11 and the Next Star stations around the country. Also to everyone around the world viewing us on PIX11.com. Midnight Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral has been a symbol of Christmas in the heart of New York City for 144 years, dating back to 1879. Cardinal Dolan likes to call the cathedral America's parish church. This year, you will notice the opening processional has a different look, a very beautiful look, a candlelight entrance to the Christmas carol, O Come All Ye Faithful.
And in 1978, the log aired for the first time on Christmas morning. For the next 10 years, it moved back and forth between Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, airing 3 hours, then 2 hours in length. Its final run in 1989 was Christmas morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
When the Yule log went off the air, my father was disappointed, but he was also surprised that it had remained on the air for as long as it had.
After a 23-year run, the log was extinguished from the airwaves in 1989. The station's comment, we had a lot of other Christmas programming and there is only so much airtime. But they also admitted that they had received hundreds of calls in protest. And letters started coming in as fans voiced their displeasure with the station's decision.
Dear Channel 11, I'm very mad at you because you didn't put the Yule log on Christmas Eve. I'm 6 years old and I was allowed to watch it on TV every year. I want you to put it on New Year's Eve. Anthony.
Bah, humbug is right. How can you just suddenly change a 24-year-old tradition? I have been watching the Yule log on Christmas Eve for 20-plus years. The Yule log has been a tradition in my family for 4 generations, and I think it's a shame that WPIX feels a repeat of a Hollywood Christmas parade is better to air than the warming Yule log. Unhappily yours, Paul Romanelli, Bronx, New York, 1989.
But the calls of protest and the letters could not alter the decision already made. WPIX was changing direction, and that direction meant airing shows that targeted a younger audience, like Charles in Charge, Growing Pains, and 21 Jump Street. As the station was reinventing itself through the 1990s, traditions were dropped, and the Yule log was extinguished. For now. The log was off the air, but not gone completely. It was getting ready for a comeback, bigger, brighter, and hotter than ever. In 1999, the now WV11 used then cutting-edge technology to stream the log on the web. CNN made this a story, and the station got more attention than expected. Even Fred, from his hospital bed, saw the log, now in its latest form.
In 1999, WPIX actually made it available on the web. And before he passed away, he was really excited because I brought my laptop to him at the hospital and actually showed him the fire burning on my computer. And you could see a really, really great smile.
By March 2001, the log was a WB11 website tradition. Interest continued to grow, and one man's childhood memories were sparked. He unintentionally became the log's most dedicated fan.
The Yule Log is a special tradition. It was something that was always there. You could count on it being there in the background while you opened your presents, had Christmas Eve dinner, had Christmas dinner, and it was something, it was like another member of the family.
It started with only a few web pages. Joe created BringBackTheLog.com in an effort to show the station how much fans of the Yule Log still loved it and missed it.
I was surfing the web or something, and I saw it, and all of a sudden I just had a flood of memories come back to me when I saw it. And I think that was the initial time that I said, gee, I wonder whatever happened to that. And then from there on, the ball started rolling. I decided to put up the site, which was at the time no more than a single-page form website, a mail form site, to see how many people were interested in or even remembered the program. As it started getting closer to the holidays, I had gotten an email from a girl in Australia who lived in Australia and said she grew up in the New York area and she remembers it. And that's when I realized the magnitude of this thing. I had gotten a phone call from a reporter by the name of Tom Vinciguerra from the New York Times, and he saw my site, and he was also a very big fan, and we started talking, and he actually put me in touch with the station, and from there on it went crazy. The real expansion, if you will, of the site came when I was introduced to Mitch Thrower. He had sent me program logs, voiceover copy sheets, and all of this material that I had. I said, what am I going to do with it? I said, it's got to go up on the site. So I immediately scanned it, and I needed to expand the site to get all this stuff on there. I was getting phone calls from the BBC, from Bloomberg, which made me realize how big this was.
I was doing some freelancing for the New York Times. It occurred to me that there might be a story in the Yule Log because I hadn't seen it on Channel 11 for some years. I missed it, and I thought that there were other people out there who did as well. So I thought I would do a piece on the lost nostalgia for the program, and found that, as it turned out, Channel 11 was planning on bringing it back. So my story was pretty fortuitously timed.
After a decade of viewer letters, phone calls, emails, the log was brought back. In particular, it was the mood after September 11th that convinced station management that it was time for the return of comfort food television. And this time, WPIX delivered big.
People still need it and want it, and it was a wonderful time to bring it back, and I think it's why it's still back. We still need that coziness.
By pure coincidence, late in the summer of 2001, a box labeled Fireplace was pulled out of WB11's New Jersey archives. Inside, a film can labeled The Honeymooners, A Dog's Life. And inside of that can, the master film from the 1970 California shoot. The film was taken to a production house where it was color corrected, cleaned, scratches were removed, and the log was remastered using the latest digital technology.
The digitally remastering of the program was fantastic. Many of the responses, the email responses I got, were also from very, very satisfied viewers. They thought it was terrific.
On Tuesday, December 25th, 2001, Christmas morning, the WB11 Yule Log returned. Airing from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., it rated #1 in the time period. Paired with another WPIX tradition, the 1934 Laurel and Hardy timeless masterpiece, March of the Wooden Soldiers, the station dominated the day. Is the log really just a way to give station employees the morning off? No. Although holiday staffing is always much lighter in general, we are still a 24-hour operation. If anything, the log requires extra care and attention on Christmas morning. We prepare multiple backups just in case the log doesn't run properly on one machine. It is important that the broadcasting of this log is flawless. And believe it or not, that takes a couple of departments to coordinate each year.
Dear WPIX, this Christmas morning, my family woke up and opened presents with a roaring fire for the first time. The music played and the flames seemed to warm my children's hearts. That must sound funny because it's on TV, but I swear that their faces seem to glow brighter this year because of it. I know there's a lot going on in the world this year, and I know it's not profitable to show the log, but it makes me happy to know that there's still some decency left in New York City. Please give my regards to the people that are working during the show. Best wishes, Pam Geiger, Newark, New Jersey, 1972.
Welcome back to the WPIX Yule Log, A Log's Life. After the success of the 2001 return, attention to the log continued to grow. By 2002, the log was running on Tribune-owned TV stations from Chicago to Indianapolis, Sacramento, and Dallas. As WPIX is also a super station, the log is also carried throughout the Northeast and around the country on various satellite providers.
I live most of the time in California, and it was a big deal when the Yule Log via programming now reaches in Chicago and Los Angeles, and it was a really special moment for me when I could turn on the TV and see the log burning in California.
Although many stations joined in the WPIX tradition, some of them tried to personalize their own message by recreating the log for their viewers.
Coming up, a warm and toasty fireplace from historic colonial Williamsburg.
We're glad to be with you on this Christmas morning as we introduce the WATL Yule Log. It's Atlanta tradition to get your very own roaring fire on TV set to great holiday music.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. They say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, and the WPIX Yule Log was just that. Clean, warm, and original. In 2003, WPIX doubled the Yule Log airtime to 4 hours and created from the 35mm film a high-definition version to air on the station's digital channel. More changes came in 2005 as the log took another giant technological leap. It left the homes it had warmed for years and became portable by making its debut in iPod form.
I saw on the website, on the WB11 website, that the program was now available for download on an iPod, and that's great. I want these kids to know what we grew up with, whether they know who Henry Mancini is or not.
Thanks to Joe, in 2006, the music was upgraded to its highest quality ever.
The music was always a mystery until I hooked up with a good friend, Chip Arcuri, and he had actually had every song in the program from the mid-'80s, early '80s, and up. And I was floored by that. I couldn't believe it, and as we got to be closer and closer friends, he actually, we met, and he gave me a piece of paper that literally had every single song, every single artist, and again, that went right up to the site. At that point, I started getting flooded. I was inundated with email requests, which is when I pretty much made Chip a partner.
Together, they would identify each soundtrack from the original 3-hour version and provided WPIX digitally remastered versions of those originals, which is what we hear today. Like management at WPIX, the log's most dedicated fan tries to balance maintaining the tradition while keeping up with modern times.
I wanted to keep it, just like you want to keep the program the same, I wanted to kind of keep the website the same, because the music didn't change, the creation didn't change, the print articles from the late 60s didn't change.
From one form to the next, the Yule Log has become a household tradition, one that's evolved from TV and radio to the internet into high definition and available on iPods. The future of this log is as endless as the imagination of the industry. As long as there are Christmas greetings, there will be the Yule Log.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised as technology has progressed. I have a feeling that the Yule Log is eventually going to be taking over the electronic universe.
In 2005, the log was featured on the Bravo Christmas special, Great Things About the Holidays. It ranked number 7. in between eggnog and Charlie Brown's Christmas special.
Dear WPIX New York, I've never watched your programming, I've never seen your news. But this Christmas, I saw a log burning on my TV, and I found out that you've been doing this for 40 years. I cannot tell you how astonished and silly this seemed to me, but I couldn't change the channel. There's really no need for a fireplace in Florida, but that might be why it touched me so. I don't know who will read this or if it will be seen at all, but I wanted to tell you that it is something I will remember for many Christmases to come. Stay warm, John Rizal, Miami, Florida, 2005.
Don't go away. There's plenty more of A Log's Life when we return. Welcome back to the conclusion of the WPIX Yule Log, A Log's Life.
To the program department. Throughout the year, we will rush to keep up. We will sacrifice our personal time to meet the bottom line. We will punch in early and stay extra late. We will forget what is truly important for a moment so we can cherish the moments later on. But it is this time of year where we remember who we are, remember who we care so deeply for, and what we hold so dear. It is this reason that I write this letter to you, and thank you for your Yule Log show. It's hard to admit, but without that log, it really doesn't feel like Christmas. I ain't saying that you have to show it, but there are many people in New York City that look forward to it. So for that, I thank you for each year you show it. From Joey Capizzi, Brooklyn, New York, 1977.
When I first got into this, I said, I can't believe I let this fireplace get out of control like this. And over time, I was astounded to see how many people shared the same sentiments as I did. I didn't think that. That was the whole reason I started the site, to see how many people remembered it. And it just goes to show you that just having something in the background, it sticks with you. You know, people say 5 years after the program went off the air, you know, I can't believe there wasn't someone sitting at a dinner table on Christmas Eve saying, remember that show they used to have on with the fireplace? Whatever happened to that? You know, and I'm glad to see it's come back.
The Yule Log is always a conversation starter because anybody who's lived in Manhattan loves the Yule Log. And because how many apartments in Manhattan have a fireplace? And they had one on television.
My dad would feel a mix of pride and surprise at the fact that the Yule Log has become such a cultural phenomenon of, you know, burning fireplace via video, you know, live to your television, your iPod, your computer. It's quite amazing, actually.
The progression of the Yule Log, he'd be thrilled. He'd be very, very pleased that it has come back again, and it's still alive and well and in different forms that other people can see it, not just here in our area here, but all over the world. What's happened now, he'd be shaking his head in amazement of all the things that have transpired since he's passed away.
I've spoken of my fascination for it. Other people have told me theirs. But it is a ubiquitous emblem of metropolitan area popular culture. The warmth of feeling that many people have toward it astonishes me. I'm not surprised that I love it. I'm surprised that so many other people love it too.
The Yule Log for me, for my entire life, has symbolized something much more than a burning fireplace on TV. It's more symbolic of how your ideas and sharing those ideas can impact the world.
I think New Yorkers are fascinated by the log for a couple of reasons. One is the philosophy of Fred Thrower, who created it. He wanted a fire available on Christmas Eve for all the, as he called them, cave dwellers in the city who didn't have fireplaces of their own. It's also a sentimental and really selfless gesture on the part of WPIX toward its viewers. There's nothing to be gained by it except viewer loyalty and affection. It's a tradition, in the eyes of some, a kitschy and dubious one, but for 40 years it's held a grip on our imaginations. I think its continuity is extraordinary.
I'm a New Yorker. If I hadn't, I would be very, very much failing in my duties as a good New Yorker and certainly as a great supporter and admirer of the work of WPIX. I live in a beautiful house, and I have, I don't know how many fireplaces, and none of them work. And so I have to depend on WPIX to remind me how the fire would be at Christmas in the fireplace, and I thank you for that.
In its simplest form, the Yule Log is still a WPIX Christmas card to its viewers. As a symbol of Christmas in both the old and new worlds, the log honors the tradition of Yuletime holiday with a one-camera shot of a fire without smoke or ash, only soft, mesmerizing flames, and no snapping and crackling, only sounds of joy. We hope watching the log is always memorable and pleasant, and that the cheery warmth of the Yule log fire and the sentiment and nostalgia of the familiar Christmas carols bring the beauty of this holy time into your homes and your hearts.
Perhaps when we look back in the history of all of this, we'll say, how did the fire become so connected with Christmas? And the books will say, WPIX did it.